welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve. Today's guest is Will Phillips from Sandtown Furniture Company. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing great, Steve. How you doing?
Great.
Nice.
I'm excited to have you on. I've been following and admiring you guys' work for a little while. Can you tell everybody what's the origin story? How'd you guys come to be?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. I also wanted to say I'm really excited to be on here, Steve. I follow you very closely as well, and I think you bring a really helpful perspective to the wood world, and I think that it's the snippets that I get from you on Instagram are like these super helpful little reminders. So a lot of it, honestly, like things that I know I should be doing, and it's a good little like disciplined reminder. And then other things that like I think you bring some insights from someone who's seeing this world from a lot of different angles and through a lot of people's eyes. And it's really helpful what you do. So I'm excited to be here. I learned a lot from you, and I apply a lot of what I learned from you sort of quietly throughout the day. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, awesome, man. That means a lot. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. So the story behind Sandtown, so I didn't have any background in the wood world. It was not something I grew up knowing and loving. And I found myself on a Habitat for Humanity job site in West Baltimore in a neighborhood called Sandtown, which is where the name came from.
Okay.
And one of the things that I was there a lot. One of the things we were doing a lot of was demo, and it's all 100-year-old row home. So we're basically taking out everything inside of the bricks and pulling out these beautiful 100-year-old beams and taking them outside, chucking them in the dumpster, bringing in these crappy new 2x4s and building a structure inside the house. And so I had to put, like, I was very, like, sustainability is a thing that it was on my mind and is on my mind. And that idea of just throwing these things away just didn't sit right with me. And I didn't know if they should be flooring or cabinetry or furniture. But I just asked the team there if they could just set them aside. I'll come haul them later and figure out what to do with them. And that sort of launched this whole thing. That was 13 years ago. I pretty quickly found a partner who had a wood shop. My background, I sort of learned everything that I know through a career at Under Armour. So I spent a long time working there. And I started Sandtown in 2010. I continued to work in Under Armour. It was my side hustle for 8 years until I made that leap that you often talk about and talk to your clients about. So anyway, I found a partner. I found a wood shop. We designed a collection. We started taking it to the farmers market, the big farmers market in Baltimore. And, we left it really rustic. We wanted it to be this story of Baltimore, and we wanted you to be able to look at the piece and understand that this was salvaged material. We made a little pewter emblem that had the address of the building where the wood came from, and
Amazing.
Really quickly we just got like this. We just struck a chord with Baltimore, and it was like we were in the right place, speaking to the right people, and we started every week. I'd go there on Sunday morning, and we started selling stuff, and you just get like this. You get this momentum from it.
You were selling furniture at the farmers market?
Yeah, it was my sister's idea. I didn't think it was a good idea because, like, you wouldn't think that people would buy there. I should say we were writing orders there. So we would bring a coffee table, and I'd bring a bookshelf or whatever we had made at the time, and I had some catalogs made up, and even early days we were working on sales and marketing. We were working on the branding of it. Taking good photographs, making it feel polished. And we started writing orders. Every week we go to the market, we write 1 or 2 orders. And, it was $25 to go there. And I'd, put my stuff on the curb, and we had our spot every week. And it was just immediately we were in front of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people a week who were from Baltimore, of Baltimore, proud of Baltimore. And it was just like the right people in the right place, and, built a little momentum, and then off we went. So that was 13 years.
Who were the people that first got, that were first attracted to you? Like, who were the people that, and you said from Baltimore, but was there a particular demographic that were like, oh, I really, they were buying and then they kept buying and then they were referring other people. Like, could you describe those people? Did you go in intentionally thinking of those people, or did those people come to you?
I think that we knew this was 13 years ago, and in a lot of ways, it's no different now.
Yeah.
It was a person, or our customer is someone who's from Baltimore and is really proud of Baltimore, and loves this city for the quirks and the imperfections and all the things it is and isn't. And, I think that in a lot of ways, we connected with that customer really closely because it's our city too. And, I think that as our business looks a lot different today. We're in a lot of different product categories. Material sourcing is a lot different, but in that same way, we still know that our core customer is here in Baltimore, and maybe they spent their younger years living in the city, and now they don't live in the city anymore, and they still have that fondness and that pride, and they want to have a piece of the city wherever they are now. But I think that's from the very jump, and even now as we've grown and we got into this big space, and there seems like there's a lot more different places, different angles, different customers we could talk to. Even recently, we sort of had this doubling down on we are Baltimore. That is our customer. And,
Isn't that a cool switch? Isn't that a cool switch to actually know who you are?
Yeah, 100%. It was there as we've grown. There's a lot of different paths you think about. And do we want to ship product nationally? And we start to take orders from, in different places in the country. We start to think is that our customer? Is our customer now? And we'll service that business for sure, but our core is in Baltimore, and we probably know that now more than ever with the new space that we're in and the new businesses that we're getting into.
That's cool. And maybe just to poke this a little bit more, could you describe the demographic? Could you women, men, income category, what did he eat for lunch?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really important. I think it's typically young fan. This is so I should stop and say we have a residential customer and then we have a commercial business. They're two different businesses and two different customers and distinct and of course there's a little bit of overlap, but we keep we know who they are differently. That core Baltimore customer is settling down, so they're either in their first home or they're moving out of their first home and they're moving up to their second home. But they are, they're settled. They live here and they're settled here. They're making their home here. They are, whether they live in the city and spend a lot of time in the city or whether they're outside of the city, but they're coming in on the weekends to see shows and go to restaurants. It is a person, it is a couple often, it is a family often whose heart is near and dear to Baltimore, and they're coming into Baltimore regularly to do the thing, to experience the cool things that Baltimore has. Working in the city, living in the city, a lot of pride in the city. Those are our people.
Cool, very cool. So it's and they must have a particular aesthetic, or they care about handcrafted goods.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I mean, I think it's the, you probably hear this from customers, but, they're looking for an alternative to the big box option out there. And they're looking, they're looking for something that, has a local connection. And, that is the thing that probably the thing about ourselves that we communicate the hardest and the most clearly is that this is a Baltimore thing. And we used to salvage wood from old Baltimore buildings. Now we work with the city of Baltimore to salvage trees that come down. But that being from this place and servicing this place, we are super sharp, super clear on these are our people. That's our customer.
Got you. So you started selling at farmers market. How did it become a thing? What, can you talk through the story of how it became official? In your eyes.
Sure. And actually one more thing that I'm going to say just about the Baltimore customer before we jump to that is, we have a couple different lines of business now. So we used to service that residential customer with dining tables and consoles. Those are our like 2 core product categories of residential. Now we have this other business. We got this big, beautiful building, and we host weddings. And we have a third business that we just launched, which is Sandtown Small Goods. So that's like, actually today or tomorrow, we're going to launch this like beautiful wood chef's knife, and we do a carving board and desk organizer, all these different small products. And, originally I was thinking like we have 3 different businesses now. We got the furniture business, we got the events, weddings business, we got the small goods business. And I have 2 really good leaders who run those, the event business and the small good. And the guy that runs small goods, was talking to me, and I'm the business owner. So I'm thinking of like these 3 silos, and he like opened my eyes totally differently to like, no. Like it's the same family that I just talked about is settling down in their first home. Like they're going to get married, like potentially they're buying gifts for their family at the holidays. It's actually like, they're different like categories of business, but it should be the same conversation with the same customer. And then it gets like, we could be even sharper, and like, we just like get to know that customer even better and service them in different ways. And if you get married here, like we have an in-house wedding registry, and you should have a dining table from us, and your groom's gifts, bridesmaid gifts, whatever it is, that should be from us too. And it's just like deepens this connection that we have, or we service this customer now, not just with their dining table, but like from the time they're settling down in their first home, like to the time where like kids are getting married, in so many steps along the way, we have this conversation with them. So it's been helpful to think about it that way.
Yeah, that's really genius. Because you're serving people at every stage, and the core theme is Baltimore wood products.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the same customer that doesn't want to buy a table from Pottery Barn, but wants to buy something beautiful and functional and specific to Baltimore. Like it is the same mindset when they're shopping for a gift for their family member. Like they don't want to buy it from Amazon. They want to buy something local and special. And when it comes time to get married or to throw a big party, have an event, they want to do it in a unique place. They want to do it in this beautiful wood shop that we have. So it is like very sharply the same conversation with the same customer, and it's just like more points of interaction, more ways to get to know them.
Different points of the customer journey.
Yep.
Which also too, like I just had a client on the podcast the other day, and he said that the thing that makes his business so successful is the variety of products serving the same customer. So he doesn't actually have to have a ton of customers to make a lot of money.
Right.
He just needs enough diversity in product. And so I always say, do 1 to 3 things, but that's on the making side. You can offer things that you don't potentially always have to create, or things that you create once, like your event space, and it's another source of revenue. Because I started thinking, I was like, these people are going to have kids. They're going to want a crib. They're going to want wooden toys, right? Like they're going to want all these, they're going to want to upgrade their house. They're going to need floating shelves. They're going to need, a man cave built out, like whatever.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's hard to like, if you build a good relation, you build that really strong relationship with a customer, like that's hard to do. That's hard work. Like to bring new customers in, find new customers, like that's it's expensive proposition to find new customers and bring new customers. So it's been, it's like I said, as we've grown and we've gotten into these different categories of business, it has like just reiterated how like that we need to know our customer really well, and we need to be really sharp. And actually, like, we use Instagram a lot. Obviously, Instagram's crucial. And sometimes, we'll have a good post, we'll boost the post. We're trying to like bring new followers in, and recently, after that conversation with Kevin, who runs Small Goods, about this, like this one customer, I only, if I'm boosting a post on Instagram, I have my own little subset called Baltimore. And like, that's who I'm talking to. And, you know, obviously we want to add more people from more places, and we love the community and the conversation, but like, I'm looking for Baltimore.
Absolutely, man. I love it. I love it. I love doubling down on your customer and only speaking to them. Because if you try to speak to everybody, you're not going to speak to anybody, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You're at all.
Yeah. And we got to be careful. Like we're saying, you know, like there is a version of this business that is like just dining tables to Baltimore. And that could be a thing too. Like it could be that like narrow and simple.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a whole business in that. And, you know, so as we're like layering different products on, and, you know, we separated the events biz, so it's got its own Instagram thing and its own Google thing. So it's its own separate entity, but we got to be, especially as we're expanding product lines and like having different conversations, like we can't expand our product line, expand our customer base. Like if you try to do all those things at once, like you just burn yourself out, and there's just no efficiency there. You know, you're not leveraging anything that you've already done. It's all newness. So we're trying to expand products and offering, but like keep that core customer.
Yeah. That's a really fascinating approach, and I love this conversation because again, you're talking about brand as the core, brand and target audience as the 1 to 2 things core, and then allows you to diversify. I actually have to wonder, how did you arrive to that? Or maybe the better question is, what was the strategic decision that made you do that? Because I feel like a lot of people like, I want to do dining tables and I want to do custom signs, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like they try to reinvent everything and everything's custom. Was it because you chose to create a product line and create a brand that allowed you to go that path?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we looked at, it was interesting. We, you know, COVID shut down. We slowed down for a little while. My partner, James, and I, you know, we work super closely together, think together on everything. And over COVID, we took a hard look at like all the things we do and all the things we make. And I like, until that point, we were hustling, you know, we're just taking jobs. We're like doing projects, keeping busy, like scratching. And, you know, we were forced to shut down, and we had to think about like, what do we do here that is good for our business? And what do we do here that we just do because our customers ask us to do? And we feel this like sort of weird sense of obligation that like our customer asks us to do this, so we should really do it. You know, and we've thought about it a lot, and a lot of it is like, you got to estimate and you got to look at your margin, and you got to have a really clear understanding of like which products and categories are profitable for your business and which ones are you literally just like spinning your wheels, buying materials, putting time in, doing delivery, doing stains and finishes, and like literally maybe not making any money at all. And those are the ones that like if you have those in the, like, you got to get those out of the business, because they're like taking the time that you should be spending growing your business. But, you know, we're just building stuff because we felt like our customers expected us to, you know, and like, look, we love our customers. We like service the hell out of them, but we got to have some discipline in our business of, these are the product categories that we are especially well suited to do, and that are, you know, where we could charge enough of a price that there's profit after it that we could put back into the business. And so I think a lot of it was like that, like having that COVID shutdown and being forced to actually like rationalize the things that we make. And we just exit some categories. Like we don't do coffee tables anymore. We don't do end tables anymore. Like we can't make money on them, you know? And like, and we, you know, to some extent we could make money on a $4,000 coffee table, but we felt like, let's just double down on the dining tables. Our price to value in dining tables is like super high. We've done it for 13 years. Like we're dialed at it, and we got great product at a great price. And like, let's just do more of those.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I really answered your question there, but I think
Yeah, no,
it's a lot of what I hear from you. And like, you know what I mean? I think that like that exercise in like rationalizing and simplifying your business that you talk about a lot, just like, what are the things, what are you like specifically, uniquely suited to service your customer with really well? Like do more of that and cut out the other stuff.
For sure. So what was that big aha moment where you were like, all right, I quit my job. I made this decision, and I'm assuming you had a pretty good paying job at Under Armour, big brand, Baltimore company, right? Like,
yeah.
Like what was that moment where you're like, oh my God, this is real. I'm really doing this.
Yeah. I mean, I was always transparent there. I always, let me think about this one, Steve. I want to think about how, I honestly think the aha moment when I thought like, I want to turn this into my career. I want this to be my thing, happened really, really early. I launched Sandtown in 2010. And it was 2018 that I moved on from Under Armour. And a lot of that time, I was super committed to Under Armour and I did everything asked of me, but I knew I wanted to do this thing full time, but I felt like I was able to get it up off the ground and I was able to, it was growing. I have a great partner, James, who was running it, and it was growing as I was still at Under Armour and, able to still bring money home and get the thing, up off the ground. And so I reached that aha moment a long time before that. I just had to have some patience and some discipline. And I felt like while I was at Under Armour, like it was growing, I was learning a ton. Like I was having fun. I was making money. It just felt like there's going to be a time to make this move, but I want to be really thoughtful and disciplined about like not just making it right now because I want to, but like, what is the smart time, when is the right time? And, it was 8 years later, after I started it, that I said, okay, now is a really smart time. I spent a lot of time with James thinking about the business and where we want it to go. And, felt comfortable, was at a place where we could do it and took the plunge.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So but it's a hard one. You talk about it a lot like that. How do you know when is that moment? And like, how do you know like when it is time to like jump from the side hustle? And it's a hard thing. It's such a, it's such a unique thing from person to person. Sometimes it's like, can you get it? I've heard I heard another guy that on your podcast of like, can you get your side hustle to where like you're losing money because you're going to your day job? And like, I couldn't get there. I had to like, I think it's just different for everybody's situation. But I think like, I knew that if I didn't go do it, I was going to regret it. If I didn't like, if I just never gave it everything I had and I didn't like take the plunge, I just knew that like on down the road, I was going to look back and be like, I always wanted to do that entrepreneurial thing and I never did it. And I knew I was going to have regret about it. So I'm just kind of from that perspective, I just knew it was time to take the plunge because I didn't want to look back later and not have done it.
That's great. Tell me, what does Sandtown look like today?
Yep. So we just, we are a team of 10.
10
just
full-time.
Moved into
10 full-time.
10 full-time. That includes, I should say 8 full-time and 2 business leaders. So Anna, who runs the events business for us, and Kevin, who runs the small goods business for us. And then 8 full-time working on Sandtown. And
great.
We are, in the simplest terms, we are a furniture business. We make dining tables and consoles for our residential customers. We make conference tables and communal tables for our commercial.
Yep.
We have an event business. So inside our new headquarters, which I'll tell you about, we have a 7,000 square foot gallery and showroom, which doubles as an event business. So that's primarily weddings, but we do a lot of other events here as well. And then our third line of business is small goods. So that's where we do run our own sawmill. We do all our own milling. So, we source extra wood. and we make small products. This is a very like nascent thing, but this.
So the sawmill is a new thing?
The sawmill we've been doing for a while, some combination of doing our own Lucas milling, doing our own sawmilling, working with partners around. We are not beholden to being a sawmill. Like,
Sure.
there could very well be a point out in the future where we got a great partner on the sawmill side, and like we do the product, we do the brand, we do the product, we do the production, but we got a sawmill partner. But yeah, so we're a furniture shop, we're an event venue, and we're a brand that's launching a collection of small goods that we feel really optimistic about too. And all of that is a Baltimore-based thing. We're servicing a Baltimore customer, and potentially, like thinking way out, potentially we get this city-based thing really well dialed, and we have the product specs all dialed. We have on that small goods range, we have like the product designs and margins and specs really well dialed. We have the like marketing channels and communication with the customer really well dialed. Yeah, so the idea is once we have this product range on the residential dining tables and consoles, on the small goods, like once that product range is really dialed, we got the designs down, the shop drawings down, like we know what the margins and the ratios, and we have the marketing message really well dialed and the channels of marketing, then potentially like that whole thing that we built up in Baltimore, that is now like a totally healthy business unto itself that services really just Baltimore. Like then can we find partners, in other cities that like have the same characteristics as in Baltimore, and can we launch that same business with a partner, kind of read them the whole playbook of like this thing that we built that was Baltimore based, and start to like launch this same thing in other cities. And that's on down the road. Like first things first, we're going to build the core of this thing in Baltimore. But I don't know. I feel like I think in a lot of the same ways, Steve, that you think about your work and your mission. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like wood biz is a hard biz. You know what I mean? Like
hard business.
It's a tricky one, and you hear that a lot coming into it. And like, I was probably like overconfident and kind of just like, didn't pay much attention to that. But like, man, you hear that for a reason. Like it's a hard one. You got to be really, really sharp. You got to be dialed, or like, the wood isn't dry, or the character doesn't meet the customer's expectations, or there's just like this.
The finish finish doesn't match. Yeah.
Yeah, I say a lot of times it's like building these custom pieces of furniture is like this crazy parlay bet where like there's 20 different things and you got to get every single one of them right.
Yeah.
And like if you do that, then like then the job passes the bar. But it's a hard biz. So I think like what you do, just helping people like navigate some of the short pitfalls, and it's a very helpful thing. And like if we could figure this thing out in Baltimore and like put together this package of like, here's how the products need to get made, and here's the ratio of products, and like maybe that could be helpful in other cities, because like we're doing it, man. This is not me like sitting on the other end of like the the finish line, like celebrating. Like we're hustling. It's like everybody in this business, all your customers, like it's a hustle. Like you got to be sharp and you got to be on it. And like if we can help some people along the way, like we would love to.
You did something not too long ago that I actually used as an example to other people. I feel like I reposted you someplace, but you did a Kickstarter style launch, and so I'll explain it so you don't have to. But basically, you had this credenza. Was it a credenza or was it a console table? Or was it a credenza? So you had a design for a credenza, and it was really, really cool. And you're like, if I make one of these, it's going to cost $7,000. But if I can get 10 of these sold at once, I can get the price down in white oak to 30 to 35. And if I get it in walnut, it was it 4 or 45?
Yeah, 4,200.
About 4,200. And you launched it to your community. and you sold out, and there were 10 spots, and you sold out, right?
So 13 actually.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, man, you guys are like, you're on it. I was like, it's like that you take an existing concept, an existing model that is out there. You must have built up so much goodwill in your community and so much of a following that you put an offer out there, and it was an irresistible offer. You showed this is the value. The value is really $7,000, maybe $8,000 because or even $10,000 because it was a one-off. But you can join this community and join our party and be part of the Sandtown family for only $4,200.
Yeah, it was tricky, you know, like it was that
was my marketing speak, but
I love it. No, that you nailed it. That's exactly what we did. And I think that, you know, it's a good example of something that you talk a lot about, and that's just like generally the importance of marketing in what we do.
Yeah.
And like the importance of it, you know, the way I think about it is, if you're doing that marketing, if you're proactively doing marketing and stuff like that, then if we're doing it, then we get to, at least to a large degree, we get to steer the direction that our business goes.
Yeah.
You know, we get to choose the products that we're going to spend our time in the shop making.
Yeah.
And if we're doing marketing, we get to steer that. If we don't do marketing and we quietly just like maybe make a little post, and like, if we're just kind of quietly not doing marketing, then our customers tell us what business that we're in. And we love our customers, but like invariably we've been there, you know, we've done that for a long time. And, you know, that's not the business that you want to be in. That's not the business that we want to be in.
It's passive.
I don't think anybody's
passive.
Yeah. You're just kind of waiting and like, you know, you're letting your customers kind of dictate what your business is. And, you know, I think, so that was an interesting one, that Grove console, because we had actually built that piece a year before.
Yeah.
And I made a good Instagram post, took good photographs of it, wrote a good caption. A lot of people liked it, engaged with it. And I sort of pat myself on the back and was like, oh, cool, that was a good post. And I moved on. And the second time around when we built it, I actually did, I think, 10 posts about it, about the one piece. And it's something that I've found in Instagram marketing is, if we're just like telling one story once and then another story once and then another story once, like put yourself in the mindset of you on Instagram scrolling through, and it's like, you might find that story interesting, and then 10 seconds later, like whatever, there's something else happens that you find interesting and it's gone. And I found that, like, you know, when we posted that one Grove console a year ago, we posted it once, couple likes and comments, good feedback, nothing. Yeah. This time I was like, all right, I'm going to like, this piece is good. My partner James designed that thing. It's beautiful. And I said, I think we're going to do like 5 or 6 posts about this thing. And we didn't actually have that. Kickstarter thing wasn't even part of the idea. It was just like, let's make a lot of posts about this thing because it's good. And then we started hearing feedback from our customers that they liked it. And people were asking, like, I want to buy one. How much is it? And I would tell them 6 or 7K. And it would be like, oh, I love it, but like, I just can't, like, not in my spot. Like, I can't, like, it's beautiful, but I can't do that. And I got like 3 or 4 of those, and I started thinking, like, how could I service this customer better? You know, like there is a customer that wants this. Is there any way? And so that's where we came up with the idea of this Kickstarter like thing. And like I said, ended up selling 13 of them, you know, at $3 to $4K each. And we still have to build them, so I'll let you. I'll let you know how it goes. But no, we found that like when we do batches like that, we can get real sharp. Yeah. And I don't worry about like, are we gonna make money on that? Are we gonna lose money on that? Like we'll be okay. We'll learn a lot from it. So, but it was a good one.
I think sometimes too, you find that, like, you know, I had a client, like, we wrote an ad. He sold like 7 tables in a day, right? And it kicked his butt. In order to do it, because it's just getting that many orders at once, if you're not built for it, will really set you back, you know. And then it, like, you get overwhelmed, and then whatever, then you get into build mode, and then when you're in build mode, you forget about the marketing mode, and then you fulfill, you collect the deposits, and then you're like starting from scratch, right? Like a question that I have is, when you think about marketing, like between the residential and the commercial, like when you are marketing and building, and I guess you probably have enough staff and team and support to build so that you can continue to market, like, but are you looking at the seasonality of things? Are you looking at like an ongoing things? Is it like every quarter is like a hit, or is it like you try to get like a consistent monthly?
Yeah, I think I would say the one thing that I I don't know if it's a direct answer, but the one thing that I fight like hell to do is carve out time for marketing.
Yeah.
That's, I have a partner, James, who does design, lead craftsman. We got an awesome team. I'm running the business, and, everyone, as every small business owner knows, that means like I got an endless to-do list.
Yeah.
And, it's fighting the urge and temptation to do like the easy checkbox on your to-do list and get through all those things. But then you get down to the end of the day and it's like, damn, I didn't do the Instagram post. Or like, damn, I didn't do the marketing exercise. And it's like having the discipline to do that stuff first. And that's like, I see it as a as a key to success for our whole operation is how much time am I being disciplined to carve out to do marketing and to steer our business in the direction of like the products and categories that we're really good at and that make our business work. And, sometimes I do a better job than others. It's not like, again, I'm not sitting on the other side of the finish line like I got to figure it out. But I have figured out that the more time I spend on marketing, the better our business is. Yeah. And applying that simple truth day in, day out is a day in, day out fight, because there's today there will be 15 things that happen that I could be pulled in different directions to go handle, but it's just carve out that 90 minutes in the morning to do that marketing. Yeah. And then get that thing done. It's the most important thing. And, we all know it. And it's where your little nudges and where you're I'm scrolling through Instagram and there's Steve reminding me that do you want to set your business up to be the thing that you envisioned in the first place? Or do you want to just take it as it comes? And marketing is the difference in our world, I think. So.
There's another thing that, I want to talk about is you can't build anything alone. You need a team. And I'm just going to say it. I said it to, I think I posted it on Instagram the other day. It's selfish to stay small. It's selfish to create a small business where you're the only person. It's also dangerous too, because if you get hurt, you can't take a vacation. You can't, if you stop working, you don't make any money. So can you talk through the thinking behind growing a 10-person business?
Yeah, it's yes, you got to do it. And I think the thing is, we are at a stage where everybody at this company spends most of their time doing something that they're really good at. And along the way, we have not been in that position. And my partner, James, me, we got the team, spending their time doing things that they aren't best in the world at. Yeah. And that aren't there I remember I had a really good leader at Under Armour I worked for, and he pulled the whole team together, and this was his introduction to the team, and he pulled the whole team together, his whole supply chain group, and he asked everybody, he said, I want you guys to think about your college days, high school days, think about your favorite class you ever took. Now I want everybody to close your eyes, and on the count of 3, I want you to say the grade that you got in that class. Mm-hmm. And so everybody closed their eyes, and 1, 2, 3, everybody says A. Because it's everybody that was they enjoyed it. They're doing the things that they want to be doing, and they're thriving. So I think that's that is the thought behind getting the company to the size that we are at now, is that by and large, everybody here spends their time doing things that they're really good at and like feeling like they did a really good job every day. And I think that when you're smaller and when you're juggling and you're wearing so many hats, like invariably, like you're spending a lot of time doing things that you're not that good at.
Yeah.
And, and I still have a list for sure. Like I do our accounting and I do our book, and like, I got to get,
get that off your plate, man.
Big time. That is like
that's eating away at your genius. You're probably losing out on like a lot of money because you're doing that.
Yeah, big time. It is. That's where I'm like, we're not on the other side of the finish line. Like I'm doing our book, and I'm putting stuff in QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And it's something that I know as I'm doing it, I have this like gut feeling as a business owner of like, I'm doing something right now that is not good for me or my company.
Yeah.
And I gotta take the time to set up the structure to get out of this thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, it's like, it is directly time that I should be spending on that marketing chunk that I just talked about.
Yeah.
So
it's the price you pay. The price you pay for not making that decision,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's hard, but it's like you also, I don't know. Never mind. I was going to say something, but I think it's probably more like there is a concern that like, what if I hire these people and like, then there's not work? You know what I mean? What if I run out of work?
Yeah.
And like for us, it's actually not been like, shoot, we ran out of work. It's more just like we take subprime work. Because it's like we got
and then you lose money on margin and you waste time because you're reinventing the wheel. You took a project that you're like, we shouldn't have taken it,
Yeah, exactly. So that is the that's the thing to manage, is make sure that as you're growing, you're not like, you're still doing the thing that you're specifically good at, and you're not, because we've been in that position before where it's like we grew, we got really busy, we added people. And then it's like, naturally the sales cycle changes a little bit and we get a little less busy. And then I feel like, dude, I'm just taking what comes our way because we got like a payroll to meet. And so it's a juggle, but by and large, like you will forever be in that,
for sure,
on that hamster wheel if you don't take the plunge at some stage and grow. And as the business owner, carve out time to do the thing that you're specifically good at.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So this is a part.
How do you do it?
Well,
how do you do it?
How do I do it? I'm
interested.
Yeah, I've gotten, so the business that I had before this was an organization that I ran, and I got it up to 27 people, and and I hired a good number 2 because I'm not naturally that person. I'm a sort of visionary entrepreneur, come up with ideas, sales, marketing. That's my thing. But you really need a good operator and a good integrator. And so I knew early, and I'm also by default just naturally trusting. I just trust, and I see the best in people. And so I've learned a lot, either, with that business and this business. It's like I'm okay with knowing that people are not going to work out, and the time that it takes to train them, because and I've gotten smarter. So like if I'm training somebody, I create an SOP, I'll record it, I'll dedicate time. And so right now, like in my business, like I'm creating a growth team, right? And so I need to spend 30 minutes every day. It's annoying, but like I have to do it, and people need hand holding, they need touching. And then I just realized that's part of being a leader. You can't always be about the work. You need to be about the team. And so like I'm training 7 people to go out there and get me leads. Imagine if you had 7 U's, even if they could do half of what you can do, and you actually have to be okay with not being perfect. Maybe on the product side, but like admin, marketing, sales, like it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be done well. And the hack, this is $1 million hack. This is for everybody. And this is like, hire somebody that is an expert at it, and you hire them once to consult with you, and this is somebody that you like. If you just like them, you've seen them around, whatever, and you're like, how much is 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours of your time? And then you get them, and then they set up the infrastructure, and then you put your people in place to run that infrastructure. That is like a little hack that I've been. So it's like you don't buy people's expertise. That's what you do.
Sure.
Like because there's a lot of experts out there, and there are people that are really good at what they do, but they're not monetizing themselves. Like they got a full-time job. You know what I mean? So like for me, I contact, somebody at a big Fortune 500 company, like, and you probably have these people in your network. You're probably part of the Chamber of Commerce, and there's like, hey, you know what? Can you just like set up my books the way they should be and create a SOP around that? And then you can go in and hire, a mid-tier person, somebody you can afford right then and there until you can hire a CFO. You know what I mean? And so,
you know what's interesting on that? Like, I agree with you completely. Like, you got to tap expertise outside of your own like world, and you got to you can't just let it rattle around your own brain.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing on an independent rep group who's going to sell
for you. Yeah.
Sell for us in our territory.
Awesome.
And at first I do sales.
Yeah.
So it's like I come at that with zero angst about are they going to be as good? Will they do it like I do it? Will they do it? It's like there's a group of people who are awesome, energetic. They're out there selling. I happened to be standing next to this woman one time at a vendor night for a design firm.
Yeah.
And I do those things once a year or once every 6 months. And I was standing next to her, and I was just shooting the breeze with her. And I was like, so how often do you do this kind of stuff? She's like, usually 3 or 4 times a week. And I thought in my head, I'm doing this once a year. And here are all these designers, my customers are commercial side customers are in front of us.
Yeah.
And so we, started talking, and, at the end of the day, it's it's better for our business for me to turn over the reins of commercial sales to a group of proven professionals and trusted experts. And it's what they do best in the world. And it's if I look at honestly, what do I do best in the world? Sales and proactive networking, going out to dinners and lunches. I got kids, I got coach my son's baseball team. Those vendor nights come at a cost, and it's if we have a great commercial rep that's out there singing our praises all day, every day, why wouldn't I do that?
Why
if I could bring in an expert, and of course we got to pay him to do it, but that's how this stuff works. You know what I mean? We pay their expertise, and all day, every day, they are selling commercial furniture.
That's great.
Why wouldn't we do it? It's much like you said about bringing an expert.
If the longer, I have a mentor that says the longer you hold on to tasks and responsibilities, the more you prove that you don't like money.
100%. There is no the team we have is awesome, and there is no better feeling for me than I'll do a day where I'm working the sawmill with our lead Brandon.
Yeah.
And we get started for the day, and I say Brandon, you're the boss today. You're calling the shots. Occasionally I end up, we're scrambling, we're shorthanded. I go on a delivery.
Yeah.
And Tony, you're delivery guy number one. I'm just here to help.
Yeah.
That feeling of giving up that control because there's people around me who are better at these things than I am. It gives me great joy.
Hell yeah.
To pass that kind of stuff off.
Yeah. The last point about that is I think it's cool to create a platform that feeds other people. I love it. I love it when people are buying houses because of the thing that I did. They're having kids, and they're the money that the revenue that's coming in and the salary that they get is supporting their family based off of an idea that I don't know. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. All right. So last question is, this is a part of the podcast where I give you any marketing business advice. Is there anything that you need to help thinking through, anything that I could help you with, like a mini consulting session?
Yeah, that sounds great. I would I would love that. There's something I'm thinking on right now. And it is, how should I use my Instagram channel? And the real question is, I've got two core businesses. We have our commercial business and we have our residential business.
Yeah.
Different customers, different conversations, different product. In the past, I have just used our Instagram channel to share what we're working on and share without a super sharp, clear perspective of what exactly who am I speaking to and what am I selling? And I'm leaning right now towards converting our Instagram channel to really be focused on that residential customer.
Yeah.
And that journey that we talked about earlier, where, whether they're buying a dining table for their first home, whether they're thinking about getting married, whether they're shopping for holidays, speaking to that customer and not
the commercial.
Every third post being a conference table. And it feels like, I could just post more, but it doesn't really work like that. You know that, how sharp and clear are we in who we are and what we do? So the commercial business, the where this gets tricky is commercial business is more profitable business. That's where, conference tables and communal tables are higher margin, higher dollar. So it's not a no-brainer to say we're going to use Instagram for our residential customer, and our commercial business, we're going to host tours, we're going to host events. We got a rep group. We're going to give them all the tools they need to be successful, marketing materials, samples, etc.
Yeah.
What do you think about shifting our Instagram channel so it is specifically and only to that Baltimore residential customer?
So, what's fascinating is with your two different audiences, it's a different sales cycle, right? It's a different medium. So with your commercial clients, those people are going to be sourced through LinkedIn, and then they'll refer to your Instagram as just a validation of the aesthetic. So your hunch is actually correct that your residential clients are going to be pouring over your Instagram, and therefore it's probably better to do that and Pinterest and your personal Facebook page. I think you've heard me talk about this. Yeah. Right? So I'll I'll friend you on Facebook, but I think you, as being a native, is it Baltimorean? Is that how you say it?
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Being a native, I think, and your ties to the city, I think you could literally build a massive audience on Facebook, on your Facebook personal page, and literally have people recognize you even more so on the street where you're wearing a hoodie, and build I think you need to build a personal brand. And I think you need to show more of the residential experience. So I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and you have a lot of product shots. What I would love is if you were truly about this experience of serving the customer all the way through, I think you can tell that story on Instagram of you delivering to the house, the reveal with the client coming in, the inspiration. And so you start selling I would sell the experience, because right now you're selling a product. What you actually need to do is sell the experience. Show the mill, show the trees, and then show the actual, tag your customers. And then if you, because I think it's a little sort of separated / divorced from each other now, right? You're only showing, you're showing some product, you're showing the process, but you're really showing amazing photographs when you actually need to start telling the story. Because then the people that are browsing the on Instagram and the boosted posts, if they don't see people that look like them, they're not going to be able to identify. And so I bet you between you building a personal brand and being like, I'm 1,000% Baltimore, I'm 1,000% family dining tables community, and I'm 1,000% showing how everybody needs to have one of our tables in their house and how it's going to be passed on to their kids and their kids' kids and that sort of stuff. Like, if like you're missing out on a lot because of that.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's right. You know, I think that the bell's ringing.
Go ahead.
I like I like that a lot. I think that the especially in this new shop, like this place is beautiful, and the like, you know, the process shots and the behind the scenes stuff that we gather here is really beautiful. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I like it.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I would do build a personal brand on Facebook. Do you utilize your personal Facebook page?
I don't. No, I'm like I don't honestly. Like I don't use Facebook. I don't use LinkedIn.
Okay.
Not because I made a conscious decision not to. More just like in the limited time that I have, I've like bet on Instagram as the most important thing. But I'm not saying that's the right decision. I've just as I've categorized, it's like Instagram is my number one, and I got the time to tend to that.
Yeah,
and I struggle with the other, you know, like time on Facebook.
Well, you can use Facebook just like Instagram, but I would make your personal Facebook page like 80% personal and 20% selling. That's all you got to do. But here's, you know, if other people have listened to this, the best thing about Facebook is that you can get 5,000 friends, right? And you get 5,000 friends. So if we're friends, you friend me, I am also a friend of you. We see each other's stuff. The more we engage, and you can have imagine 5,000 families in Baltimore, 5,000 business owners in Baltimore, 5,000, you know what I mean? Like, imagine.
Sure.
Like, yeah. I also think because you have this space, like carve out, you know, 300, 500 square feet, and I'd create my own little podcast featuring Baltimore business owners.
Yeah, you know what's cool is we're doing a lot of collab stuff right now. Like, like everything we do, all the small goods, it's all collab stuff. Like, we got a guy that makes beautiful chef's knives, and like we got a woman who's awesome at candles.
You need to tell those stories. You need to tell those stories. Like, and then you start tapping into other people's audiences, and then start leveraging. We had talked about doing a Woodpreneur meetup at your space too.
Yeah,
but like, but like, I think you could host. You know, have a client. They have a space as well, and their hosts every month. They have the Chamber of Commerce. They have a women's event, they have this event, they have like, you could just start creating a center of space in between the times that it's not, and these are all business development opportunities, you know. And so
sure, yeah.
Anyway, is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely helpful. I mean, I think that I think that Instagram, like finalizing that decision that like Instagram is servicing our residential customers, and servicing that Baltimore customer, and like just getting sharp on that conversation.
Yeah.
Is an important decision, is a decision that needs to be made.
Yeah.
You know, it can't just be like, here's what's going on at Sandtown today. Like, you know, obviously there's got to be a plan to it. So I think that's really good.
Cool. Very cool. All right. How can people get in touch? What's your Instagram, your website?
Instagram is Sandtown Furniture Co. And that's probably the best place to check in with us and see what's going on. Sandtown.com is the website.
Cool. Very cool. Well, Walt, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you sharing your story. I feel like this was a very meaty episode that we can definitely dive into more. So thanks so much.
It's really helpful, Steve. I love what you do, man. You do help I glean a lot of little helpful nuggets from you, and I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.